We're back at Forte Hair Salon, Broad and Stenton. It's another edition of the Sports Shop. You might recognize a couple of the usual suspects in the house, and I'm sure you recognize our two special guests. Not one, but two former Birds linemen, Jamaal Jackson, Todd Herremans. Say hello to the fellas out here as well. And my God, it's great to have you all in here as we do each and every week at the barbershop, just chopping it up. And it's turned into, of course, a lot of Eagles-centric discussion because this team right now is the best in the NFL, and everybody around, not only in Philadelphia, it's buzzing. And it's great because we have you guys both here, and you both have played on some legit teams. You both played on some really good teams. So
I don't think I ever won, though.
Well, that's, without maybe the jewelry itself, just getting to that moment and knowing what it's like to be on a squad, because we're right in the moment of it. And we don't know really where this thing's going, but you guys at least have something where you can fall back on, and you've been there.
That's the thing, too, is whenever I see the guys that are on the current squad, I try to tell them, hey, down the road, don't be talking to yourself saying, hey, remember when we were 8-1? Because a lot of teams have a nice early start where everything's great, but then they end up talking later down the road. Hey, remember that one time we started
and
like
the shit just falls apart.
So good. We'll capitalize on it because not many people get to 8-1, so you gotta take advantage.
Right, but be honest, right? Because every year,
Jamaal,
not just you
great
guys,
though, man.
there's always that clunker. A team always has a clunker, right? Their only loss right now is a really, quote-unquote, good loss, Kansas City, one-possession game. You guys kind of wondering if that comes eventually? Because you almost seem to think that if they get that out of the way,
Right. No, I think they need to lose a game before the playoffs get here, for sure, because they need to see how they rebound from it. How, they've got to go through a little bit of an up and down.
You want this city right now, where they're at, to withstand a loss to fucking Dallas?
I don't want
Dallas?
I don't want it to happen. It just got to happen.
not Dallas,
Not against Dallas.
Can it be the following week?
It could be.
With Chicago?
You know what? Right now it might even be too early for it because you want them to regain it and hit full momentum going into the playoffs.
I mean, to his point, right? The Packers, what year? 2007? They were 2011, 15-1, lost at home to the Giants. So maybe there's something to that. The idea that you kind of got to get it out of the way.
Because it's not about your record; it's about the momentum you got once you hit the playoffs.
Because week 2, that loss to the Chiefs, that was too early. They didn't know they was going to be 8-1. I mean, you want one of those, we fucked up games. One of those, just,
Right.
throw the tape away, burn it, don't even watch it. They need one of those just to kind of go through
Dallas
that.
Atlanta game.
Yeah, I mean, we did that. When that was 08, we played Baltimore. We got our shit kicked in.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went on a streak and did some things in the playoffs and went to the NFC Championship game. So,
Remember this shit? Yeah, I thought when we went to the championship game, I thought that was like, it's all right, we'll get it next year. We'll be back here. Not the first time I ever made it. No, this shit doesn't come around.
Yeah, you don't realize that shit, right? When you're going through
I was early
it.
in my career, so I thought, I just came to the Eagles. They just got out of the Super Bowl. We went 6-10, but then 2 more years later, we're back in the NFC Championship game again. So I'm like, all right, we got back in the form. This is where it's going to be. Never again. Not even close.
Yeah, man, it's hard, man. So
It's tough to get there.
They just got to take advantage of this
It's all
moment
about momentum.
right now.
Once you hit the playoffs.
8-1 is nice, but
Right.
you don't want to look past the forest, before you get to the trees. So
I think
You think 15? If they were to go 15-1, it's more detrimental than say being 13-3 from momentum standpoint.
I would say, as long as they keep getting better from here until the last game, if they win them all, okay, then they get better.
Right.
But don't win some sloppy games and stuff like that and, disguise these wins with bad performances. You know what I mean? Because then you're going to have a false sense of security in playoff time.
But see, that's been the good thing about this team, the way they've been winning. Hell, they'll pound the rock, they'll throw the laces off that son of a bitch, they'll do it all. So, and special teams has been helping, even though Darren Sproles has been out. But I mean, they've been doing great as far as the way they manipulated wins. So I just hope they can just keep it up.
that's the thing too, because it's funny, right, when you say it, Jamaal, but you're right. Shit falls apart. It's just natural. That happens, especially in the NFL, where it's weekly. But then you look at this team each week and you try to point to a weakness, and you say, all right, this is the week in which this little thing is going to blow up, and it's hard. It's hard to point to that. Now, I mean, you could look at corners, you could look at Vita if you want, and you guys would be great, to look at that specific. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say this is a weakness that's specifically going to just.
I mean, if I were to say they had a weakness, it'd be, they have I don't know if this is a weakness. They have like too much talent. Like
Right.
they got guys that are coming off the bench who are, starters that are, that's been hurt, and they're like gaining other guys through trades and picking up guys who have experience. So, I mean, that would be my only concern. Like, who's gonna like try to
Only
jostle
one
and get
ball?
more time?
Yeah.
But that's a weakness, you think?
I mean, it can mess up the chemistry. My man Ajayi he already said he's looking for a heavier load.
Right.
Like, that's what got him bounced out of Miami.
Right.
You just got to feed the hot hand here.
Right.
Well, is there like a flukish element? Not flukish because they've proven week after week that what they do is fairly consistent, right? I mean, the way they run the ball, Carson, the way they play D-line defense. But is the fact that, as you mentioned, they're bringing guys off the street sometimes, or they lose Jason Peters and Hicks in the same game, and they have to play like Joe Walker and Halapuli Baitai. Is there a little bit of a smoke and mirrors concept there where you're like, how long is that really sustainable for the long haul?
I think with the left tackle, one of the things with protection that you're noticing is he is getting some pressure on him, but he's so strong and able to like shed these arms on him and stuff. So the quarterback's kind of making up for the lack of protection. I think if you had a weaker guy back there that was like falling if somebody just flapped his shoe or something. This guy's like power squatting out of a pile of like 10 guys and running for 20 yards. So like I think that covers up a lot of weaknesses with the protection up front. But dude, I think that I thought there was going to be a bigger impact losing Jason at this point, but I think they've been looking good. And I think the play calling has helped that out too.
So you got a week this week that's been blown up. And I can't say this too much on the radio because they'll run me out of town. And being from New York, I'm lucky I'm even here 10 years, trust me.
You didn't hear that, too.
I heard you.
So, but I always
Yeah, you're a
felt that, I know, listen, I can't go home, I can't stay here, I'm fucked. But they always, every year, right, it's Dallas week. And it's Dallas week again. There's no Giants week, there's no Skins week, there's no other week. And I get it that there's this hatred for the local Dallas fan who's from Philadelphia that drives that needle in the Eagles fan. But was it like that with you? Was Dallas week a thing, or was it just something that you kind of, because, listen, you play in Philadelphia, you understand the pulse of the city. Both of you definitely understood the pulse of the city, still do.
You kind of embrace it.
Yeah.
Once you're on the team, it kind of like, you have to adopt it because these fans won't let you live it down. I mean, you walk in the parking lots during tailgating before the game, they got toilets with Dallas Cowboys at the bottom of it and shit. I mean, the hatred towards them knows no bounds. Not here. So, I mean, this is one of them things that we didn't go into it thinking we have to like destroy these people. We're doing like every game.
But is there anything about, once you started getting involved in the rivalry, was there anything about the Cowboys in particular, whether it's the owner, a player, a coach, anything that made it easier for you guys to embrace the hatred?
Well, sure. Well, see, now that I'm retired, like
Yeah.
I would have had more hatred because every time I'm watching the game, you see fucking Jerry Jones.
Yes.
Why they show him? The only owner. They show him every week, no matter what. He gets shown. You don't see Jeffrey Lurie. You don't see Arthur Blank unless they're playing against each other. I mean, he's the only one that has a camera on him.
There was a guy who was a special teams coordinator. He was always out there. I think his name was Joe Aversano, something like that, Italian name, and always on. And I'm like, what other team always has their special teams coordinator on TV as much as this dude? That's why I feel like that whole, like you're saying, Jerry Jones. Like, why do they always get so much attention for everything that they do?
So, the only thing that I was able to buy into is like they all just seem so privileged. As soon as you put a star on your helmet, you seem privileged.
So that's real.
They get a new
From a player to player thing.
Player, yeah. Like even when guys got traded down there, it would be like, God, these are acting all privileged now. What's up with him? But,
I mean, America's team, dude.
Yeah, everything
How
about
did they become America's team anyway?
I think
Because
that's
they said
where
they were American.
fans. That's why the fans hate them so much, like every other fan, because they're deemed just like, you're a United States team.
Right.
Like, they like deem themselves that.
Yeah, it's like
And they
that
got one star.
self-appointed.
They
Right.
got like 50 of them bitches or something.
Tell them why you mad, son.
Tell me why I hate them? All right. As a kid growing up, the Eagles would always have a problem beating them. So as a kid, the little kid, the enemy of your enemy is your best friend, like my man Brandon told me, right? So I inherited the 49ers because that was the only team that just would trash them every time. So I started like, yeah, that's my team. But deep down inside, I was like, I want the Eagles to do that. Then it started turning when we got Randall Cunningham, so I was back on it. But reason why I hate them most because of the fans from Philadelphia that like Dallas. How do you like the Cowboys?
You said cockroaches wrong.
Yeah, cockroaches, maggots. I call them all types of stuff. If you look at my Twitter, I go at them, like dead at them.
Yeah.
They be mad. I get blocked, all of that. But the fans here, they're a little weird to me. The Dallas Cowboy fan from Philadelphia is a little weird to me, and they all have the same thing in common.
They don't know what they're talking about.
They don't watch the
bandwagon,
games.
and some of them
they all wear the
ain't
same
even
Rex
old enough
outfit,
to
too.
remember remember it. So they inherit it from their dads, their uncles, their moms. So,
They all dress alike? You said they all dress alike?
The white,
I
the
hate
jersey,
them. I hate they
the long
fans.
jean shorts, the J's. It's like the starter pack.
Did they come at you guys?
Nah.
The Philadelphia Dallas fan, the Philadelphia Cowboy fan, did they ever come at you guys like when you were out on town or you know?
They'll take a picture.
Of course not.
They'll take a picture. They'll want to take a
Really? So
picture.
they wouldn't even admit it?
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that somebody from Philly with the accent and all would try to hide it, or wouldn't try to hide
I
it.
mean, honestly, I unfollow college teammates that are Dallas fans. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yo, I think Philadelphia is the only place that has a million different fans for other teams in the NFL except the Eagles. Like we have Minnesota Vikings fans, like stuff that I don't like it's like they straddle the fence. All right, the Vikings good, but I'm gonna stay right here until I think the Eagles is turning good. But now you see them trying to like jump on because we have Carson and everything is looking good in the future. Like I really had somebody here right now that really is a Vikings fan. Oh, my man Nick right here.
Throw a spot up.
He riding that way.
That's right. He's a squad for the year. Right.
Man, you've never been to Minnesota in your life.
It's a good year to be a Vikings
Here we
fan,
go,
right?
Vikings fan, I like AP in 08, so when AP came to the Vikings, I'm like, I like the Vikings. Dude, he had some good years there, dude. I like Jared Allen, Pat Williams, Kevin Williams. Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's the thing, though. People are waiting for the Eagles to get good, and now you start to see it come
Everybody
out.
coming out. I even had a Dallas fan on, like, they really secretive about giving the Eagles props. They'll never give the Eagles props. Even with the eye test, you can see Wentz is better than Dak. They'll say, well, Wentz is having a good year. Dak had a good year last year. But even with the eye test last year, you can see the potential of Wentz is completely different. He's like a generational type player. Like, you're not going to get that every time, man. So, like, Dallas fans sneaking like, oh, yeah, y'all rolling or y'all good. I'll get them Texans here and there. Y'all all right. Like, da-da-da-da. But, like, they maggots, man. They maggots, man. I can't stand them,
But
man.
see, that's great, man.
I got to give Young Stallion, some credit because he didn't just say AP. He said Kevin Williams and Pat Williams, and that made me think.
We played against them,
those two guys, right?
Man, he just Googled that. No, you know, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, Buff. I'm messing with you.
You heard I was coming, he Googled my name. It was a picture of me blocking or getting beat by him.
Which one was tougher than the other? One was a big stout guy. The other was that athletic get up the field guy, right?
Kevin was the more athletic.
Yeah, he would tussle with Kevin, and I have to handle the big boy down low.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a low man. Like
Kevin was good.
we ran the ball okay against them, and it was times we had problems.
How would you guys do? How would you guys do against Fletcher and Tim?
He's tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are.
Fletcher ran me out of town. Fletcher ran me out of town. One too many one-on-ones in front of Chip. Fletcher's a beast.
Chip wasn't having it.
Back to right tackle?
I don't think too many people can handle Fletch one-on-one. So I mean, the things I've seen him do this year. I mean, hey man. You don't have a real defense if you don't bring your cops now. You gotta bring them now.
That's right. You guys must have had some fun times, though, doubling up on some people. Just playing next to each other. And like the whole thing, the aspect of knowing, like, are we going to get this guy today? And then being able to put somebody on their back together.
There's got to be one that stands out. That combo block, that Jamaal Todd
And laughing at somebody.
4DT.
Well, no, because I'm sure there's somebody running
so
their mouth.
because that was like
Who was the
that
loudest?
was like 7-8 times a
The most
game,
satisfactory,
you know?
like, I can't wait to shut this up.
Oh yeah.
Cofield?
He was up with the Giants.
Chris Hovack. Well, slob.
What happened with Hovan? What happened with Hovan?
Hovan was just like one of those intense, like,
Just,
I'm gonna wear it all on my face and try to.
it's like he's trying to pump himself up to lift weights or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Latimer in the
Like,
program.
Foaming out the mouth.
So you guys put him on his rear end or what?
He's in our stands, like looking at him, he's like, like drooling and shit.
Should we give him a treat or something? I mean, it was bad,
Bro,
but
this is football.
yeah.
We're gonna have to do this again in about 10 seconds.
Right.
You know, we're gonna have to do it about 60 times today.
Like a DMX concert.
He was. I mean, he was just the most animated.
Yeah.
You know. But then you got guys like Jay Ratliff. He talked a lot in Dallas.
Yeah.
Was there somebody that
Nature, Jay Ratliff.
Yeah.
What did he play at 285, 290 pounds?
Yeah.
little
And he
guy?
played the nose, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was longer than most nose, taller
Yeah.
than a nose would be, but he's quick off the ball.
He could blow up a screen pretty good for an inside guy.
Shit. Who else?
Brad. Hainsworth when he was in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was
To
that?
this
Like?
day, I'll find it. I'll
He's
like,
crazy.
Google a picture of me, and it'll be a picture
It'll
of
be
me
a
like
picture
laying
of
on
on
the
top-
ground with
yeah.
his hands running around me. And I was like,
Wait, he drew a picture of you?
No, there's a picture on the internet from my first time playing him. It was right after he got done with the head stomping suspension.
Yeah.
Off
he
the
came
Cowboys.
back.
Yeah.
That was
Off
his
of the 5-game suspension.
Yeah, that was his franchise year or some shit like that. So we get him fresh off the suspension. I'm like, if he step on my eye, man, you better knock this motherfucker out. He stepped on the last center. I don't want that shit to happen to me. Somebody better get him.
I never blocked somebody like that in my life. He's just like,
Who, Hainsworth?
Yeah,
my
he
God.
He's your toughest?
when he wanted to do, I double team.
but the
Did
thing
nothing.
is, it's
No.
Like nothing.
But then the thing is, you go,
Yeah.
what, 4 or 5 years down the road, and he's in Washington.
And you
He
can
didn't
move
Fell
want
apart.
to play.
Yeah, it fell apart.
He didn't want to
So
play.
you could just he'll move out the
We
way
got
for
that
you.
money.
He needed motivation and incentives. I mean, when he was with Tennessee that last year, he was unblockable.
Yeah,
Right.
Washburn was coaching him too, though. Washburn knew how to coach him.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's true. That's
It's that
true.
why not, right?
Put
Yeah.
them years back.
That's great though,
Yeah.
man. Just
He was a handful.
Is there a Cowboys game in particular that you guys think of that stands out? You'll always remember. And I think naturally people think 44-6, right?
The one we went down there and blew him out.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was here.
That was
No, that's here,
that was
yeah,
when
yeah.
you got help from Oakland and help from Chicago, like two teams that shouldn't win. All
Yeah.
you gotta do is win. But there was a lot of intense games. And I can think of some times where you guys were good or you guys weren't good, but you always took it to Dallas. I'm wondering, is there any game that stands out?
The one I always think about is the one with Westbrook Neal. Yeah. It was like telling me.
Yeah, get down.
I mean, it was like what 13-9 or something. It was low, but it was like during like Christmas time or something like that. Man, that was like one of the most enjoyable games to play in. I don't think we was going to play off that year.
No, was that
Was it
2007?
the 8-8 year?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
it was 2007.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, I mean, we wasn't going anywhere, so we just wanted to end their hopes or whatever, or just kind of ruin their Christmas. And at the last moment, we're in the huddle like, all right, man, we want to score. Like, no, get out, yo. Right.
Was y'all part of that T.O. rivalry when he got
Yeah.
traded to Dallas?
Yeah.
How was that though? How was he on the field? T.O., if you could remember anything about T.O.
He was more or less bickering with the defense. I
Okay.
mean,
Shocker.
Or anybody that would listen, right?
You know, I mean, that was the year when he was like, that's my quarterback, that's my team.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my
when he was
coach."
crying.
T.O. was
Yeah,
always cool with me.
25
though.
million reasons that
yeah,
year.
that year.
Yeah, T.O. was always cool with me though. He just didn't see eye to eye with a lot of other
people.
Like,
Like-
he always was like super nice,
Right,
offering rides, like stuff that you wouldn't expect him to do. But I don't know, that side I never saw the other side of him.
What,
He
T.O.?
seemed like
He was,
We missed that.
nah, he was different though. Cause my first year on the team when he was here, I remember because I was like, yo man, we got a Jordan contract, right? So I'm like, I want some Jordan cleats. So I go up to the
Jamal's trying to get shoes off.
that's right. That's
You guys
me.
don't even
That's
know
me.
this guy has
I got about 1,000 of them, you know. So you know, I'm like,
your own
how much
shoe
money you
closet.
got? I do.
Yeah, he has his own shoe closet.
So legit,
Yeah, I do.
legit sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a whole culture,
Well,
not
no,
even a
no,
subculture.
No,
Okay.
not really. Well, see, it's a big difference between sneakerhead and me. I'm from Miami. We just wear sneakers. You know what I'm saying? These people up here, they like to collect like
Right, right,
ancient
right.
sneakers. No, you know, I see it, want it, buy it, own it. So anyway, I go up to Donovan. I'm like, yo, where y'all get these clicks from? It's like, man, T.O. got a Jordan contract. Just ask him. Next day, walk in the locker room. I'm like, yo, man, see y'all some Jordan cleats. Like, you might not get something. Like, yeah, I got it for me. I mean, so, you know, when you got one of the highest paid receivers, he kind of sunned me. So
He's like, I
ever since then, I was like, fuck this. No.
Right.
Nah, but he was cool though. Like, he was one of those, like, you got to catch him, you know.
When he in a nice
mood.
mood.
When he partying and grooving, he grooving. But, you know, when he had odds with management or the quarterback or whomever,
Bro.
or you know, whatever, he just, you leave him alone.
That had to be like, because I think that was probably maybe the best team that the Eagles had when T.O. was there. Like, that had to be heartbreaking to see that just break up like that, right?
Well, that was my rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that shit was like normal.
you thought it was normal?
Like, I came into the NFL. We just came off the Super Bowl victory.
Right.
And we go like 6-10. The whole TO thing is happening.
Yeah.
We get like 23 of our starters on IR or
think you guys
something
are
like
5-11.
that.
That's what we all
We
played.
started the whole season with a brawl down in Atlanta.
First
And we
game
got
of the
guys
year.
ejected
That's
today.
right.
Yeah. And I'm like, the NFL's crazy. I don't know if I can do this for many more years.
Then Ike Reese went
Yeah.
to Atlanta.
That's what
Yeah,
Ike started that, right?
It was a Monday night game.
Monday
night.
I remember that.
Because Ike knew he'd get Trot ejected.
Exactly.
Ike tried to disrupt y'all. Ike started that. Let's say that.
That season started all bad, man. But it ended great because we all got jobs.
Right.
Like, I started playing like in the middle of that year, and he was playing. And
Mike McMahon didn't get another job.
well, no, Mike. But see, let me tell you about Mike. Mike was the man. Mahoney smelled great during practice. Like, he puts on the girliest fucking lotion, man. Like, he has to have on, like,
Who that? Mike Vick?
no, Mike Mahoney.
Mike
Mike McMahon.
Was he rocking a car or like juke?
Like, it was something real, like,
Remember the juke?
fruity, and like, it smelled great. So, you know, man, he would shave every day. Like,
Oh, he would use cucumber melon?
oh man, I don't know what it was, but it was real citrusy and
That's flowery. Floral. It was
like
a floral scent.
every quarterback had their own little thing. You know, Donovan had the cocoa butter and.
Do you guys remember 2007? You're 5-8, and you go into Dallas on December 13th, right? And you win 10-6. And to me, that game stands out because you finished 8-8. That was like your springboard win. And even though you guys were out of it, everybody in the city was like, just go beat Dallas, go beat Dallas.
Yeah.
And my memory is Quentin Michael stopping Marion Barber at the goal line 2 straight plays. And now nobody stopped Marion Barber. Remember how he ran? And Quentin, you know, kind of like you guys, kind of come into his own that year and really makes a name for himself. But then you guys won the last 3, and you finished 8-8. And that was kind of a springboard for what you guys were going to go through next year.
Yeah. You know, the good thing about the Dallas matchup is always there's a game at the end of the year. So no matter how your year has turned out, you always got that Dallas game. And like, we'll kind of like tide over the city until the next year if we win.
Right.
We don't have to worry about that this year, though.
No.
Definitely not.
So as we're winding down, I wanted to get this out because we talk a lot of music on the show. It's just come in like a natural progression. And whatever we bring up, it just seems to be a hotbed. So I figured you guys would be great to talk about this with and think about all the names and characters that we've talked about already that you've played with. Was there any artist or song maybe that comes to mind that was like the ultimate locker room unifier? That anybody, no matter who, like Akers even would know that shit. Like any song would come on or any artist be like, all right, this, no matter what different taste you got, you know, like, all right, man, we're all, everybody's rocking with Pac. I don't know. Just,
What was we playing in training camp every day? I mean, because we'd always play like some mixtape shit.
I don't know. I feel like Bone Thugs would always go.
Bone Thugs?
Yeah.
Which one? What song? Any song?
Oh, shit, it don't matter. Whichever one they dribbling on.
Crossroads? First of the month?
Nah, like,
Well, you guys always talking about money.
nobody's singing and shit.
like you trying to get victory. We're not trying to lose.
Right. Some sad Boys to Men shit.
In the locker room.
But I imagine it was probably something like hard, upbeat. Probably not. Probably more hip hop than not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people would just fall in line with and they didn't like. It's like too many people like it.
Bartram had like one country day a week or something like that.
Yeah.
Wednesdays.
Country Wednesday.
Yeah, country day Wednesday, something like that. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Come in and put country
How
music
popular was that?
on. Whatever they decided to put on.
Some shit you were
Man,
like.
that music stuff was, man, you know.
Well, people take it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very personal, right? And you guys all are going out there individually, but also as a team to do a job and stuff. But you know, what might motivate you is going to be different. What motivate you, or Bartram or somebody else. So that's why whenever you have something blasting,
Big Red used to always have this rule that like you could listen to whatever you wanted to as long as nobody around you could hear it. So everybody was kind of like in their own element. While Andy was here. As soon as Andy left, the Chip came in. Peters came in, wheeling this big ass speaker in the locker room, set it up right next to his locker, hooked up his laptop, and was just searching for any song he wanted, just blaring it. Before every game, he brought this big ass speaker, and whatever Peters wanted to listen to is what everybody else listened to.
that's fucking hilarious.
JP was defying Chip from day one, wasn't he?
Day one. All right, no Chip talk. We promise these guys. They won't come back now. We start talking about Chip, right?
Chipper.
Chip to Florida.
Chip to Florida. You be down there for the first Gators game?
I don't think he's going to Florida.
You don't think so?
No.
As long as he stays out of football,
I
I'm
don't
okay.
think so, man. That's a pressure cooker, man. You gotta turn that program around now.
I think he would win a lot of games in Florida.
He would, but would he win them right away? It's a
Yeah.
lot of speed
No
down
Chip
there.
talk. Come on.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
They want to
Wait,
get
let's
it
end
in.
on a Bartram
Never had
country
a quarterback,
music.
except for Mario.
Mario.
All right.
Let's thank the fellas, Todd Herremans Jamaal Jackson, for coming in. Really appreciate you guys
problem, man.
for stopping in. Sports Shop, Forte Hair
man.
Salon, Broad and Stenton, as we're here each and every week. Usual suspects as well.
Accident was awesome. Started off great.
Were you in that?
Nah,
Yeah, there was an accident. We thought Jamal might be a little late.
I wasn't in it, but I was a part of the convoy getting there.
Is that right?
Yeah,
that's
man.
I
amazing.
was texting Jamal, and then the next thing I heard was, so,
Well, we
you
call
know.
them Squad Lizard. They came shooting past me. I was like, okay, I'm in the right spot.
We'll see you next week.